I know there's a heat wave that's rolling through the East Coast this weekend, but here in Los Angeles, temperatures will be in the high 80s. In fact, this weekend here in LA, it'll be in the hundreds. The fans are rolling in for Game 3 between the Phils and the LA Dodgers. We talked a couple weeks ago about the 16 of 19 stretch the Phillies had coming up. Well, they're at the end of it. They're 8-10 during that stretch. They have been outscored by 13. They had the same amount of home runs. Now, the big problem has been, and we've seen it in these last two games against the Dodgers, the starter's ERA of 6.13. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom McCarthy along with Ben Davis. The Los Angeles Dodgers are tied for first place in the National League West. They were 6.5 games back at one point, but we have seen a glimpse of why they've been so good in this series because their offense has been so good.
Their offense has been spectacular. They're doing it with a bunch of lefties in their lineup. 1 through 8 really can swing the bats well, but these lefties in the middle of the lineup have been doing all the damage. Take a look at the average, 348 average, but the one thing that really sticks out, 15 extra base hits. They don't have a triple yet, so hopefully we can live at that, but you have to keep the ball in the yard.
All right, so 24 hits in the first two games of the series, so now Jeremy Hellickson has to be the staff ace this afternoon. He has to stop what's going on with the Phils.
When you think of Jeremy Hellickson, you don't think of him as a true ace, one of those guys like a Clayton Kershaw, but on the staff, yes, he is the ace. He has been the most consistent pitcher throughout the course of the year, and he's been excellent on the road, so hopefully he can be that stopper that puts the end to this two-game losing streak today.
This was his game against the San Diego Padres, and during his last 4 road games, he's only allowed the 1 home run. It was in that Padres game, but he's 3-0. The Phillies are 4-0, and his earned run average, well, that is something that everybody would embrace coming into this afternoon's ball game. So today we wrap up our trip west to Los Angeles. It is Game 3 of the series. It'll be Jeremy Hellickson against the veteran Scott Kazmir. When we return, we'll go to the CSN studios to get you started for today's game. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. By Toyota, the annual clearance sale is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. By Coca-Cola, the official soft drink of the Phils. And by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Learn more at IBX.com. Dodgers and the Phillies wrapping up this 3-game series. Got to get to the shade if you can at some point here today. It is a 12:05 local time start. I should say 12:10 local time start. Dave Roberts' team has won the first 2. In fact, they took 2 of 3 from the Red Sox this past weekend and have climbed back into a tie with the San Francisco Giants for first place in the National League West. The Giants are currently playing against the Miami Marlins. Meanwhile, Pete Macadam's team, well, they got to somehow figure out how to quiet this Dodgers offense, and they're also hoping that they can get their offense going as well. Let's take a look at Pete's lineup for today. It's brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. Hernandez, Altair, and Franco, followed by Tommy Joseph, Carlos Ruiz, and Jimmy Paredes. And the bottom 3 of Tyler Goodell in left field, Freddie Galvis at short, and Jeremy Hellickson on the mound. And they will face Scott Kazmir, who they have had success against, although this is a very different Phillies team. But the other guys had a lot of success against him. Overall this year, 9-5, Ben, with an ERA of 4.51. It's a high ERA in his first year as a National League pitcher.
It really is, but you know, the fastball has come back for him, which is something that I'm sure he's very excited about, as long with the Dodgers. Take a look at the scouting report. He'll sit about 92, but he will run that up in the mid-90s at times. Change, curve, cutter, slider. He's got a big hook, and he was the first-round draft pick of the Mets back in 2002.
One of the craziest trades the Mets ever made was sending him to the Tampa Bay Devil Rays at the time for Victor Rodriguez. So here's the first batter of the game. It's Cesar Hernandez. And he lines the first pitch softly into shallow right, and he's aboard. That's a good way to start the game. A leadoff single.
Boy, did that come off his bat funny.
Off the end of the bat, it seemed to be. So now he's reached base safely in 18 consecutive games. Time now for our Nissan keys to this afternoon's ball game.
A little play on words here, Tom. Rock the Kazmir. See that? Right, get him out of your kitchen. He loves to live inside with that fastball. So get him out, turn and burn. Hellickson, change up on your change up till they hit it. Dodgers have been very good at hitting the fastball this series.
Here's Aaron Altair. And Altair batting for the first time. I said Victor Rodriguez. Victor Zambrano is who he was traded for with Tampa Bay. Altair is 1 for 8 in the series with a couple runs scored. He's hitting .245. 3 home runs and 12 RBIs. Yes, he is playing center field again today. Odubel Herrera not starting against the left-hander. And essentially, Pete just doesn't feel like he's swinging the bat well, even though he had a 3-hit game the other day. Just feels like, particularly against lefties, Odubel needs to sit for the time being. No balls and 1 strike to Altair. Takes high. He has hit 6 of his last 8 games. He's only been back for a week and a half, and he has 12 RBIs. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. The lucky McDonald's Phillies home run jackpot contestant is Steve Liller of Philadelphia. Phillies hit a home run in today's ball game. Steve will win $100. McDonald's mix and match any 2 for just $2.50 on McDonald's McPick 2 menu.
Good luck, Steve.
Somewhere in Columbia, South Carolina, Murph is signaling you that he heard that. Fastball on the outside corner. Strike 3 call. So Altair is down looking. Murph is taking the next step in parenthood. His daughter's moving into college today. Here's that pitch to Altair.
That is some paint right there. Almost looked like Altair was looking for something in and just completely gave up on that heater away.
And that's not surprising, right, with Kazmir, is to look for something in like that?
Yeah, and that's why it was one of my keys, because he will work the inside corner to righties.
So Altair's retired. Maikel Franco, the batter, 3 for 8 in the series, and he takes the first swing. And it's a swing and a miss. It's 0-1. Overall hitting .252, 20 home runs, 66 runs batted in. Ground ball to shortstop. That's probably going to be 2. Seager to second for 1. And over to first, a 6-4-3 double play. The Dodgers had Franco played perfectly. So it turns out to be a quick first inning for Kazmir, even though the Phillies got a leadoff single. We'll head to the bottom of the first here at Dodger Stadium. Is sharing first place at this moment in the National League West. Let's take a look at his lineup. Very similar to the last couple of days, which is somewhat surprising. Utley, Reddick, and Seager, followed by Gonzalez, Grandal, and Jock Peterson. In left field today is Howie Kendrick again batting 7th. Rob Seguin, the third baseman, bats 8th. And batting 9th and pitching is Scott Kazmir. And they will face right-hander Jeremy Hellickson. Hellickson, who has 9 wins this year, which has matched his total from a season ago, and an ERA of 3.72. He's up to 138 innings, and he's already won 1 game on this road trip.
He's been so good for the Phils this year. Very steady. He'll sit about 90. Trust his stuff. Cutter, curveball, the great changeup. Career versus LA, 2-1 with a 9.00 ERA. So hopefully he can improve upon that today.
That would be good. Here's Chase Utley to lead it off. Utley 3 for 9 in the series with a home run. He has 90 hits as the leadoff hitter for the Dodgers this year. And those 90 hits are among the league lead for leadoff batters. Gene Segura from the Diamondbacks leads all leadoff hitters with 131 hits this year. But Utley is 5th. 1 ball and 1 strike. His average is only at .252, but he does have 22 multi-hit games this year. And you know he has familiarity with the National League East, and that has certainly shined brightly in 2016. Swing and a miss, good off-speed pitch, and it's 1-2.
That's really going to be key for him today.
Well, if you read the accounts of last night's post-game press conferences with Pete Mackanin and with Vince Velasquez, from Pete's standpoint, that should have been the key to last night's game, too. Outside 2-2.
They have just peppered the fastball. I mean, they've peppered it.
Change up, swung out and missed, and there's out number 1. So Hellickson picks up a strikeout. And that brings Josh Reddick to the plate. Today's game is also available in Spanish. Just use the SAP button on your television or change the language through the menu on your cable box. There's Vince Velasquez, who got roughed up last night. He lasted into the 5th inning, and he said after the game that, you can see it in that first inning, he was throwing 95, 96, that he was trying to power his way through against this Dodgers lineup, and he had a good fastball in that first inning. But after that first inning, he did not have a good fastball.
I'm just talking with Cameron Rupp today. He's just said they just could not get on the same page today. He said, one thing I will do, and I promise you I will do this, is sit down next to Vince and really kind of go over his thought process last night.
That one's pulled down the right field line by Reddick. It is a fair ball off the base of the wall. He'll hold up at first. That ball was played beautifully by Jimmy Paredes because that ball came off the wall like a rocket. Only the third hit for Reddick since coming over from the A's.
It's this 0-1 pitch down the line, just off the base of that wall. I guess you could call that the half wall in right field.
Paredes in right field today. Tyler Goodell in left field. And Aaron Altair patrolling center. Here's Corey Seager. Seager 4 for 9 with a couple home runs in game 1 of this series. Hitting .303 with 21 home runs. Fastball at 0-1. You know, earlier this year, talking about being on the same page with a pitcher, Carlos Ruiz had a game with Jeremy Hellickson where he didn't feel like he was on the same page. And Carlos said the same thing. I'm going to sit down with him. He sat down and talked with him. They watched video.
Yes.
And they kind of went over the next game plan.
And that's really the best thing to do. Sit down. If you remember one inning in particular where he was just shaking every pitch or every other pitch, sit down, watch that inning just next to each other and just have a discussion about, okay, I put this down because I thought this is where we could go or what you could do in this process. What was your thinking not to do what I wanted to do?
Two young players, and they're going to hit speed bumps from time to time. 1 ball, 1 strike. Check swing, foul ball. Now, with that said, I thought going into last night's game that his 95, 96 mile an hour fastball was going to be effective, but he did probably throw it way too many times.
If it's not located, it just won't be effective.
1-2 to Seager. Throw at first base, and Reddick is back.
And one thing you have to have, and I've said this many times, but you have to have conviction out on the mound. You have to have 100% that you have the pitch that you want to throw.
Seager lines it the opposite way, and that'll be a base hit. Back-to-back singles puts runners on first and second. And Adrian Gonzalez will be the hitter.
First baseman number 23, Adrian Gonzalez.
He was such a good-looking young player.
The fact that he's able to go to all fields at such a young age has been huge for him.
He mishit a ball and flew out to the wall in left field last night. And I mean, he mishit it. And it still almost went out.
That'll bring Adrian Gonzalez to the plate. Gonzalez batting cleanup today with Reddick batting second. He has the most at-bats against Hellickson in his career. He's 4 for 24 against him. In the dirt, 1 ball and no strikes. 10 home runs, 54 runs batted in. An OPS that is just shy of 800, but has been well over 800 since the 27th of June. Two balls and no strikes to Gonzalez. Hit sharply, a fair ball down the first base line. It hit the umpire, so it's a live ball. Reddick's coming home. The throw to the plate by Joseph, not in time. And it's 1-0, Dodgers on top. The umpire is beyond the bag, Alan Porter. So the fact that it hit him, he tried to get out of the way. The fact that it hit him meant that the ball was live. If he was in front of the bags, it would have been a dead ball.
I would have loved to have seen Tommy Joseph try to go to second base for this. The problem is Freddie Galvis not standing near the bag. And Tommy gets to it. Play at home, he's going to be safe at home. Reddick's scoring easily on this play. See it hit Alan Porter there. But when Tommy gets to it, throws it home, and I think the play was at second.
Well, I think he peeked at second for a moment, but as you said, there was nobody there to cover, so that's why he decided to fire home. So 1-0 Dodgers. That'll bring Yasmani Grandal to the plate. Gonzalez is credited with a double on that, his 22nd of the year, and because of that gets the RBI. The middle of this order for the Dodgers, the middle today, has been crazy good in this series. Now they were 5, 6, and 7 in the first 2 games of this series, and you see Grandal's splits from April to June and July to August.
That is amazing. What a turnaround.
Inside and low, 2-1. Five, 6, and 7 in this series. 10 for 20 with now, or 11 for 21 with now 9 RBIs and 6 doubles, counting Gonzalez's double today. Grandal rolls over on it. It's 2-2. Grandal on this hitting surge is our Geico quote of the day. There's nothing much to it. Just the fact that being healthy and having my bat speed back and relaxing at the plate. Just see the ball, hit the ball.
Well, that's it.
Well, it also helps that he's playing at home more often too, because his home numbers are ridiculously good. He is tied with Wilson Ramos for most home runs for a catcher. Good pitch by Jeremy Hellickson. Boy, did he need a strikeout. He got it. Second strikeout of the first inning.
Center fielder, number 31, Jock Peterson.
That changeup. Heard the pitch before. He came over the top and hit it towards the Phillies dugout. With that one there, that bottom fell out of it. It's almost like a splitter.
Jock Peterson 3 for 6 with 4 RBIs in this series. He has 2 doubles. Home runs, or 16 home runs, 47 runs batted in. Outside, and it's 1 ball and no strikes. Peterson is much better suited where he is in the lineup than where he was a lot of times last year when he was the leadoff batter for the Dodgers. Inside, 2-0. That pitch, even though the crowd groaned, was really not that close.
He will strike out, and he will take a walk.
As we saw in last night's ball game, he walked a couple times. Curveball. Must have been a bit high, according to the home plate umpire, John Tumpain. Alan Porter, we said, is at first. Brian O'Nora is at second. And Jeff Kellogg around at third. All 4. So he walks for the 3rd time in the last couple of games, and the bases are loaded for Howie Kendrick. Kendrick, one of the stars of last night's ball game. Kendrick at 265 with 7 home runs. He has 14 at-bats against Hellickson in his career. But he's working now with the bases loaded and 2 outs. Fastball at the knees, 0-1. Here's his home run in last night's game.
The fastball is supposed to be away, ends up being down and in, and much like Aaron Altera did in the second inning, he hits this ball to right center.
And that's part of what Cameron Rupp was talking about as far as location goes, and just not throwing the right pitch at the right time. Inside, 1-1. Ball got a piece of Carlos Ruiz, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Phillies at 11 games under the 500 mark. We'll head home for a long homestand after today's ball game that starts on Friday night. Down and away, 2-2. Well, it's turned out to be a 28-pitch first inning for Hellickson. It's a bullpen that had to be utilized in last night's ball game and even in Game 1. Severino Gonzalez did such a good job in Game 1. Hopefully Hellickson can find a little bit of rhythm to finish out this first and then into the second and third. Tapper foul. Well, this is an understatement, but the Phillies are seeing the Dodgers when they are their hottest offensively. This has been, for Dave Roberts' team, this has been enlightening. They're 13-9 since the All-Star break.
It's one thing to look at a lineup, and you look at a lineup on paper and you say, well, these guys are going to be good. That's not always the case. You look at this lineup and you say, there's some big names in that lineup, and right now they are swinging the bats very well.
Chopper over to first, and that'll go foul. Meanwhile, for Pete's team, well, offense has been problematic. And he and the guy next to him, Bob McClure, are trying to figure out their rotation with the injuries to Eflin and Aaron Nola. Swing and a miss. He strikes out Kendrick and strikes out 3 in the inning. But the Dodgers do score a run. Hellickson leaves them loaded. The RBI double by Gonzalez. It's 1-0 LA as we go to the second. Well, Jim Thome is in town and he's ready to go. Wall of Fame night will be Friday when the Phillies take on the Rockies. He'll be inducted into the Phillies Wall of Fame. Tickets can be purchased by going to Phillies.com. And all fans will receive that poster right there. Compliments of Toyota. Tommy Joseph starts things off against Scott Kazmir through just 7 pitches in the first.
7 pitches, and that included a leadoff single.
Yep, he got that double play. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. It'll be Joseph, Ruiz, and Paredes. As the Phillies try to even up this road trip at 3-3 after taking 2 of 3 from the Padres. That one's dragged out to shortstop. And Seager picks up his big frame and throws out Tommy Joseph. 1 gone here in the second.
Catcher number 51, Carlos Ruiz.
Carlos Ruiz will be the batter.
I know we keep referencing it, but I compare his body to Cal Ripken Jr. People don't realize how big Jr. was, and still is. You're looking at 6'5". Seager's every bit of that. He was towering over Ryan Howard last night.
Yeah, there's some thought that he will eventually, not anytime in the next year or 2 years, but there's some thought that he could move over to third base eventually. As Carlos takes low and in, 1-0. Ball and 1 strike to Ruiz. Carlos has in his last 7 games hit .362 with 5 RBIs. That's a tough strike. 2-2. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, Giants and the Marlins have finished things up. San Francisco wins it 1-0. Jeff Samardzija gets the win. He's 10-8. 5 Giants combined for the 5-hit shutout. Samardzija went 5 2/3. Will Smith, Hunter Strickland, Derek Lowe, and Santiago Casilla. Casilla picked up his 26th save. Brandon Crawford provided the only run. It was a solo shot. Barry Bonds was ejected in that ball game for arguing balls and strikes with the home plate umpire Corey Blazer. And by the way, your guy Ichiro, everybody's guy Ichiro, 2 more hits. He's up to 3,002. See the West standings now. The Giants up by a half game. Outside ball 4. So Carlos draws a walk. Kazmir not pleased with himself. The Eagles kick off their preseason Thursday night. We kick off our coverage of the first game of 2016. We'll let you know what we're looking for from the starters and the backups, as well as head coach Doug Peterson. Watch Philly Sports Talk tomorrow night at 5 right here on CSN. Runner at first. 1 man down. Jimmy Paredes, the batter. Outside, 2-0. So Grandal will go out and chat with Scott Kazmir as he's fallen behind after walking Ruiz. By the way, you mentioned the size of Seager in comparison to Cal Ripken. You think about some of the shortstops that are currently playing in the big leagues. Tulowitzki, 6'3". Jeter was more than 6 feet tall. Xander Bogaerts is listed at 6'3", although he says he's really about 6'2". Correa from the Astros at 6'3". Inside, 3-0 to Paredes. He's trying to get this run back and get their offense turned around. Carlos a short lead off first.
It just really shows you how the game has evolved into that position being more of an offensive position. I mean, there's no little 5'8" guys hitting 210 in the big leagues anymore playing shortstop.
The Tapper foul. It's 3-2. Paredes, even with all his time in the American League, has never faced Scott Kazmir. Kazmir has only faced 5 current Phils. Ruiz was one of them. Ryan Howard has faced him 8 times. Galvis has faced him in a game. Ashe has faced him in a game as well. Change up, popped up. Chase Utley looks over at Carlos Ruiz to see where he is, and he makes the catch. It's funny though. Chase is always thinking. You know, he's always looking. Like he was looking at Paredes, and he was looking at Ruiz just to see if Paredes was even running up the first base line, and to see where Carlos was off the bag. I think if it was hit a little lighter, because Paredes wasn't really running,
right,
then he would have maybe made a decision on it.
See Chase running in. Paredes way out in front.
Tyler Goodell takes inside.
He's always had tremendous field presence. That's one thing I compliment Freddie Galvis about. He always knows where he's on the baseball field. You know, especially defensively. He always seems to put himself in the right spot. He's witnessing that Game 5 of the World Series in 08 with that play at home plate.
I was actually surprised Chase was playing today.
Really?
It was. I mean, I know he's swinging well against the Phils, but I just thought maybe Dave Roberts has been giving him days off from time to time. I was also surprised that Grandal was catching today, but I guess he's so hot he didn't want to sit out.
And you can't take that bat out of the lineup right now. Going to run the halfback option here.
I always wondered why catchers were doing that. I really was. Did you ever have one of those wristbands?
No.
It was all up in that noggin, huh? Swing and a miss.
The only thing that was up there.
Goodell misses the changeup. Second strikeout for Kazmir. No runs, no hits. 1 man left for the Phillies. We've played 1.5. It's 1-0. Dodgers. HD on over 400 supported devices. It includes a free subscription at Bat Premium, the #1 app for live baseball. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Visit MLB.tv for details. One thing I always talk about out here are the Dodger dogs. Now, for me, the Hatfield dogs at home are better.
Yes.
But fans out here, they love their Dodger dogs.
I think it's an extremely overrated hot dog.
Well, I'm glad we're giving you that platform today.
And you know me.
You like food.
Hot dogs are in my top 5 favorite foods. They really are. But not the Dodger dog.
You want an all-beef Frank, right, Ben?
One size, too.
Seguin wraps it out towards short. Backhanded by Galvis. Smoothly over to first. 1 away. One out now for Scott Kazmir.
Pitcher number 29.
Talk about 2 different pitchers. Vince Velasquez, Jeremy Hellickson. Last night, Vince in the first inning struck out the side on 94, 95, 96. Jeremy today struck out the side in the first, all changeups.
And was frustrated walking off the mound big time after allowing the run. Kazmir swings at the first pitch, hits it over the head of Utley. Fastball, and it's 0-2. Kazmir 4 for 36 this year as a hitter. One of the things he's had to adapt to now, obviously in the American League, he gets to bat every once in a while in the National League parks, but this is his first year as a National League player. He never got to the big leagues with the Mets. 1-2 pitch coming to him. And he taps it up the first base line. Ruiz will pick it up in fair territory smartly.
Veteran.
He's probably thinking, I'm not going to throw another pitch here. I'm going to get this guy out right here. No reason to let it roll foul.
No.
Well, that'll bring Chase Utley to the plate. Utley came to the plate so quickly in the first inning, it didn't look like he had any interaction at all with Carlos Ruiz. Carlos was very emotional the other day when talking about Chase and seeing him for the first time in the batter's box. He said, I'm sure he's going to say something that's going to make me laugh. But these guys, they went through an awful lot as teammates between Chase and Carlos, Jimmy Rollins, Ryan Howard, Shane Victorino, Jason Worth.
About how many years they spent together, and during the course of a season you spend way more time, and I mean way more time with your teammates than you do with your own family. So talk about knowing the ins and outs of your teammates. These guys did it.
Well, pitch drops in. It's 1-1.
The thing about teammates, baseball teammates, is you could be a teammate with a guy for a year, not see him for 10, 12 years. And then you see him and it's like you're back in the clubhouse again. Like, that's one of the greatest things about having great teammates.
Inside, it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Well, as everybody knows, I mean, Chase is very hard-nosed. It's about the game, preparation. Carlos is that way also. They're very similar in that way, but Carlos is also a jokester. So, you know, Chase would laugh every once in a while in the clubhouse because of things that Carlos would do to make everybody laugh. Carlos said the other day, said, if I'm kneeling down waiting for a pitch, I don't even know how I'm going to look at him or how he's going to look at me. Ryan Howard, he kind of likened it to when Jimmy came back when they faced Jimmy Rollins for the first time. Those guys were such close friends. Grounded foul. Swing and a miss. And Hellickson picks up his 4th strikeout and gets a 1-2-3 bottom of the 2nd. He's retired 4 straight. We'll head to the 3rd. 1-0 Dodgers on top. For all the information, and please submit your answer on the subject line. The question is, Ben, which 2 pitchers is Clayton Kershaw tied with for the most 200 strikeout seasons in Dodgers franchise history? In Dodgers franchise history. Answer will be revealed a little later on. Here's Freddie Galvis. Galvis is homered in this series. He's 2 for 7. Joe's bunts in the air, and Adrian Gonzalez will make the catch. 1 pitch, 1 out. And here comes Hellickson.
Pitcher number 58, Jeremy Hellickson.
Jeremy had a 2-run double in his last game. So he has 4 RBIs overall. Fastball at the knees, and it's 0-1. Out of play, off to the right. Dodgers also have an off day tomorrow. They'll welcome in the Pittsburgh Pirates for a weekend series. Dave Roberts' team, we mentioned 6.5 games back at the All-Star break, and they've erased that. But you even go back into the 3rd week of June, they were 8 games back in the National League West. And obviously erased that as well.
Well, it has been a good combination for them, and the fact that they are really swinging the bats well, and the Giants have just not been playing good baseball.
The Giants just did it today with pitching. And Brandon Crawford's home run, but pitching.
You and I were discussing the fact that we definitely think the Dodgers have a better lineup than the Giants. It's just the rotation for the Giants, I think, is a bit better.
Well, the records by month for both teams. Dodgers are 20-12 in their last 2 months as Hellickson checks his swing. No swings as Alan Porter. Meanwhile, the Giants are 15-18 since the 1st of July. It's going to come down to, in a lot of ways, those matchups between the two teams, as it always does. You know, how you're going to do against your division, but also how are you going to do against the other team? As Hellickson fights one off into left center field, a base hit. Peterson will slide and knock it down, and Hellickson will hold up at first. So a 1-out single, second hit for the Phillies.
For 16, Cesar Hernandez.
Now for the Phillies, their next 20 games, 15 are at home. Includes 3 against the Rockies. The Dodgers then come in, and the Cardinals. That's part of that homestand we were talking about. And then they hit the road for the White Sox and the Mets. And then 6 against the East, the Nationals, and the Braves. It's a pretty high winning percentage for the opponents the Phillies are facing. Cesar fights it. Foul off to the right.
A winning percentage of .627.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Dodgers are 4-6 against the Giants. They have them at the end of August, and then they have them in 2 series in September, 1 at home and 1 in San Francisco. And by the way, you know, they're down by 8 games on the 26th of June. And that was Kershaw's last game. And they've erased the 8-game lead by the Giants. 1 ball, 1 strike to Hernandez. Change up. There's Clayton Kershaw. His role is to wear the gargoyles in the dugout, flip them up and down a few times, and maybe go to the phone when they need him to. Another foul ball by Cesar. Swing and a miss. That changeup has been working today for Kazmir. That's his 3rd strikeout. And his 2nd one on the changeup.
23,
If your employees are on the road as much as the Phillies are, protect them with Independence Blue Cross. They're part of a national system of Blue Cross and Blue Shield plans that cover more than 100 million members across the country. Live fearless. Learn more at ibx.com/biz.
He's been predominantly fastball changeup, and this changeup is excellent today.
2 pitchers with similar styles, but one right-handed, one left-handed. That ball's lined down the left field line by Aaron Altair. It's going to go toward the wall. Kendrick will play it off. Hellickson will hold up at 3rd. He doesn't run that quickly. A double for Aaron Altair, his 3rd.
I think the only one on this club that scores on that is Cesar. Yet another extra base hit by Aaron Altair. As I said, it's been predominantly fastball changeup. He mixes in a wrinkle there, does Kazmir, and Altair shoots it down the left field line.
Well, now the Phillies have a chance not only to tie it, but take the lead with a base hit because you have excellent speed at second base.
I was walking past the weight room today, and I just happened to peek in there and saw Jeremy Hellickson on the treadmill.
Yeah. He was working up a pretty good lather today.
It was about 2 hours before the game time, wasn't it?
He was doing a lot of stretching before the game as well. Franco hit into a double play his first time, and he takes a fastball, 1-0. Honestly, I'm surprised he got a fastball there on the first pitch. Back on the last homestand, he was the Phillies' leading hitter with runners in scoring position, but you see his numbers 0 for his last 8.
No hits up the middle or towards right field either. That's what he did so well on that homestand against the Giants.
Phillies 1 for 15 with runners in scoring position in this series. Off the end of the bat, out toward Utley, and he'll go to his left to get it. Phillies will leave 2 in scoring position. 4-3 on the putout. No runs, 2 hits, and 2 men left. Jeremy Hellickson will take a breath, take his time to go back to his spot. We'll head to the bottom of the 3rd.
Fans, it's time to play the emoji.
Pressure treated pine. If it doesn't have this yellow tag, you don't want it. Buy McDonald's Mix and Match any 2 for just $2.50 on McDonald's McPick 2 menu. And buy your local Ford stores. Sunshiny afternoon here in Southern California with the Dodgers lead at 1-0. Phillies last game on the West Coast. They still have a couple of games in Chicago against the White Sox. But they are done with their West Coast schedule for the season. Hellickson just out to the mound to start his warm-up tosses after being left over at third base. Phillies Fantasy Camp is open for those of you 30 years or older for this January. From the 18th to the 22nd, 5 days, 4 nights. The commissioner will be Mickey Morandini. Get a chance to learn the game from such Phillies legends as Greg Luzinski, Mike Lieberthal, and a handful of others. Fantasy game versus the legends at Bright House Field. Personalized Phillies uniform and so much more. Go to Phillies.com or call 610-520-3400 for more information. Josh Reddick singled and scored his first time up. So he leads off the 3rd. Dodgers with a run on 3 hits. The Phillies with no runs on 3 hits. right field. It's right at Jimmy Paredes, who comes in to make the catch. He's got those sunglasses on top of his head. I always wonder about day games here at Dodger Stadium and just how tough it is to pick up the baseball because of the lighter seats.
The lighter seats, plus just how bright it is out there. They're all white uniforms. I still think day games in Oakland were the brightest.
You know what they say? Did you ever play at Comerica Park?
Yes.
They talk about Comerica Park being one of the toughest ones during day games. Bronco shading his eyes from the sun, so is Galvis, and it's Galvis who makes the call on the catch. And 2 away.
I never really had any problems with Comerica Park.
Yeah, I've always read, and I've talked to some players about it, because of the medallions on the back of the seats. There was always this glare.
Well, I never had to play in the field.
Well, that is true. You didn't. You were looking the other way.
Yes.
Adrian Gonzalez doubled off the umpire his first time up, which, as it turned out, may have been a break for the Phillies. That ball had gone down in the corner. Seager might have been able to score all the way from first. Fly ball left field. Goodell has it lined up. In a 1-2-3 inning for Jeremy Hellickson. So he's retired 7 straight since allowing that first inning run. That turned out to be a 6-pitch bottom of the 3rd. On to the 4th, 1-0. Dodgers lead the Phils.
It's all based about fastball command. You know, that's number one. But if you're having a game, you're going to have starts where you're not commanding the fastball, and you can't go harder. You got to go slower.
Well, Bob, we appreciate it. We'll talk to you again as we move forward.
Sounds good. Thanks a
Beck.
lot.
Tommy Joseph will lead things off as we go to the 4th. Bob has in his mind, and he has it written down too, the number of innings he feels like it takes for a young pitcher. He said everybody's different, but really a young pitcher to get it in the major league. So when the Phillies youngsters are struggling like the young starters have been recently, he does become somewhat philosophical about it, and he runs through certain players and says, hey, this guy took this many innings, this guy took that many innings. So he doesn't get too overly concerned about their struggles so far.
Yeah, and I really do hope that some of these younger guys do watch what Jeremy's doing and what he has been doing, because if you take a look at what he's doing out there. It's hard to tell a younger pitcher like Vince Velasquez, who has that overpowering fastball, to back off a little bit. It's hard because, that's not part of his MO.
Yeah. Joseph hits one softly on one hop out to second. Chase Utley's up with it.
51, Carlos Ruiz.
And here's Carlos Ruiz for the second time. Carlos walked his first time up.
It was nice to hear Bob say that about the curveball, because it's not just a pitch to say, oh, throw it because you quote unquote have it in your repertoire. Well, if it's not a good pitch, then you shouldn't throw it. But I think it has good bite to it. You can throw it for a strike. You can throw it behind in counts. And for that reason alone is why I think you should throw it more.
I think the other thing is that it does set up his fastball, which is, 90 miles an hour, 91 at its best. With a ground ball out, 2 away here in the fourth. And Jimmy Paredes will be the batter. Kazmir with 107 wins during his major league career, and his ERA is exactly at 4. Former first-round pick in 2002. Over his last 15 starts, he has won 7 and lost 2. And he finished up the month of July. It was one of the better months that he's ever had. He was 3-1 with an ERA of 3.58. See his splits from team to team. He really turned the corner again with the A's, winning 20 games coming back from injury. There were a lot of folks wondering if he would ever pitch again. Chase Utley in the perfect spot, and Paredes is retired. Phillies go down in order here in the top of the fourth. Nothing across. We'll move to the bottom of the fourth. Yasmani Grandal due to lead things off for the Dodgers when we return. Toyota.com to find your RAV4 today. Toyota, let's go places. Let's go Phils. Home half of the fourth inning, the Phillies up 1-0. An RBI double by Adrian Gonzalez, the difference in this game. Yasmani Grandal will lead things off. Grandal struck out his first time up. Swinging a miss at the off-speed pitch, so he starts him off with a changeup. And it's 0-1. Well, all these young guys are watching from their perch in the dugout. And it is true, the hope is that they can see. Sometimes you don't have to pitch backwards all the time,
right,
but getting that changeup, establishing that changeup, which Velasquez did throw 16 times last night, could offset some of these fastball hitting teams. Got to throw it more than 16 times, don't you, man?
Well, I don't even think it was 6. I know that's what they said, but I think a lot of those were two-seam fastballs from some of the conversations I had today.
They may have been, yeah. Yeah, his two-seam fastball is very close in velocity to his changeup. Swing and a miss, and Grandal strikes out for the second time.
Number 31.
I don't want to
Jock Peterson.
get in front of myself here, but he's got that changeup that is disappearing today. These guys are thinking, why can't I do that?
Eichhoff talking to Thompson after that strikeout with that changeup. Thompson had his bullpen session today. When we came into the ballpark, they were just wrapping it up down in the right field corner. Bob McClure liked what he saw from Thompson, kind of slowing him down a little bit after his first start. Here's Peterson, and he takes a fastball in. 1 ball, no strikes.
He really flinches on that ball in, doesn't he? He did his first at bat on a pitch that just wasn't even that close.
That pitch, I wouldn't have been surprised if the home plate umpire had called it a strike.
Juice didn't move a whole lot.
Peterson bunts. Ruiz out from behind home plate, throws him out. Well, the Dodgers will return the favor and come back to face the Phillies in Philadelphia beginning Tuesday, August 16th. It's all part of a 3-game series. Chase Utley's return, Chase Rice's debut at Citizens Bank Park on Thursday, the 18th. Post-game concert with country music star Chase Rice. Your game ticket for that concert is your concert ticket as well. Purchase your tickets now by going to Phillies.com. On the 16th, we are going to be broadcasting from the stands, which is what we've done the last few years. And on the 16th, we'll be out in the upper level of Harry the K's. First time we were in center field. Last year, we were behind home plate with all those goofy hats that we wore. And this year, we will be out at Harry the K's in the upper level. So stop on out.
2 things I remember about last year.
The hats.
The hats, and then when the Fanatic came over and tried to shove it down on Matt's head, and that hat had a big pin on it, and it cut top of Matt's head. And the other thing is the grand slam at Mike Franco.
Right, we can see it perfectly. Galvis throws out Howie Kendrick. The other thing is Murph was giving out a lot of free beverages. I don't know if that made everybody happy. Made the fans happy. We'll go to the 5th here in LA.
All right, Dodger fans, it's time for Builders
phones only rely on the long-lasting power of Duracell batteries. Delivered right to your desktop the same day when you order by 11:30 by who? Who but W.B. Mason. Tyler Goodell will lead it off here in the top of the 5th inning against Scott Kazmir. Goodell takes a fastball. He struck out his first time up. It'll be Goodell, Galvis, and Hellickson. Two and two to Goodell. .76-mile-an-hour changeup. Kazmir has that old school windup for a left-hander. The big leg kick. He able to maybe to hide the ball a little bit more, but just total command of his secondary pitches. Off the front of the Phillies dugout. Pitch usage today, fastball 52%, 22% changeup, and the curveball just under that. There was that curveball.
The hook he only throws 6.9% of the time, but it's definitely a pitch that he should throw a lot more when he was younger. But the development of this changeup, I keep throwing that one too. He threw a 3-2 changeup to Jimmy Paredes back in the 2nd. I wouldn't say you could look for it here, but can't give up on that heater.
Outside, ball 4. So Goodell walks on the changeup, and that is the 2nd walk issued. Well, today was the day we got a chance to say goodbye to Vin Scully, who we will not see announce a game against the Phillies. He is retiring at the end of this year after 67 years as the play-by-play voice of the Dodgers. There he is. He is one of the nicest people that you will ever meet. In fact, Vin began his major league career as a broadcaster in Philadelphia back on April 18th, 1950, when he was sharing the booth with Red Barber. And he told me the other day, we sat down and talked for about 20 minutes. He told me the other day that his recollection of that game against the Phillies, it was opening day. It was Robin Roberts against Don Newcomb. And Red Barber said, son, you are going to do the middle 3 innings. So Vin prepared for Don Newcomb against Robin Roberts, and he loved Robin Roberts. He always talks highly of Robin Roberts, what a great guy he was, what a great pitcher he was. He said, and Newcomb didn't last out of the 2nd inning. The Phillies peppered Don Newcomb that day. In the top of the 1st, they scored 2 runs on doubles by Granny Hamner and Del Ennis. And then he started the 2nd, and he gave up 2 more doubles, including one by Andy Semenek, and he was out of the game. So all the preparation that he had for Don Newcomb that day, he had to brush aside and use his next start. And he was honored this year on the field here at Dodger Stadium. And he was recalling that day, and Don Newcomb was standing next to him. He said, isn't this incredible that you and I, after 67 years, are still on the field together? And one thing about Vin is that he always gives everybody all the time they need when they want to take photos, when they want to talk. He's just an incredible person, and it's sad to see this legacy end, but it's been just an incredible, amazing career.
It's been great, and I was fortunate to get my picture taken with him again today. And I didn't want to rush him. He's got a lot on his plate, but he really just started talking to me and talked to me for a good 5 minutes about our club and how young they are and stay patient. And it's just It's incredible.
Well, this is the time he gives. You know, Jared Eichhoff and a bunch of the Phillies players came up. Juan Samuel, who was here in Los Angeles, and I was in there when Juan came up, and Vin's eyes lit up when he saw Sammy come up. And his eyes lit up when Jared Eichhoff came over for a photo, and Michael Marriott. He said to me afterward, as Freddie Galvis pops this ball up into foul territory, and Grandal is under it. He makes the catch. He said to me afterward, he said, I always love when the players come up. He said, they bless me with their presence. He said, that is their gift to me, a thank you for all the years that I broadcast games. He said, it's a blessing that they recognize the history of the game. And that's one of the things you and I were talking about, how impressed we were with some of the Phillies young players, that they understand how important Vin has been to the game of baseball.
Yeah, and the sincerity that he has, which you had alluded to, is when he says thank you, you could see that he genuinely means it. It's not like thank you. It's thank you for giving me and allowing me to be a part of Dodger baseball for all these years.
Well, we saw him the first day when I sat down and talked to him for a while. We talked about baseball. We talked about football. He wanted me to make sure I said hello to Larry Schenk, Philly's longtime PR man. Hello to Chris Wheeler. I reminded him that Wheels' birthday was yesterday. He was excited about that. But he also, said it was time, to what do you say today? Just to enjoy life.
Enjoy life
after baseball season's over this year.
And he seems at peace with it. It's not like he's just. I just 67 years.
Well, when Michael Marriott came up today, and Michael grew up a Dodger fan in West Hills, Vin knew all about him. They knew all about what his story was. And in fact, he played high school ball here. And if you get a chance, there are a lot of things that you can listen to with Vin Scully. It's the same with Harry. You can go back and listen to so many different great calls that Harry had during his unbelievable Hall of Fame career. But if you ever get a chance, go back and listen to Vin Scully's ninth inning of one of Sandy Koufax's no-hitters. Or even go back to the other day when the Dodgers honored David Ortiz and listen to Vin narrating the life story of David Ortiz. I mean, it's just special in every sense of the word. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Hellickson, and a strike 3 call, so he's down looking. When Vin started, Harry Truman was president of the United States. There have been 12 president administrations since he took over as a broadcaster for the Dodgers. And he has said one of the best decisions he ever made, because he didn't know whether he should do it or not, was when the Dodgers moved out to Los Angeles, was to come with them to LA.
One thing fans at home can also Google, and this is something I saw earlier, just Google Vin Scully $13 bill. And you get to listen to Vin totally debunk the unlucky nature of number 13. It is amazing. And in the middle, say in the 2-2 pitch, and then he'll keep going on with the number 13. And it'll blow your mind.
Oh, and he still looks great. In his 80s, still looks unbelievable and as smart as a whip. 1-0 pitch is blooped foul off the right side. Cesar is 1 for 2. He has singled. He's also struck out. Swing and a miss. They throw behind Goodell, and he quickly gets back ahead of the tag. And a strike 3 called on a fastball. It's the second time he's gotten a batter in this inning on his fastball. No runs, no hits, 1 man left for the Phils. We'll go to the bottom of the 5th. It's still 1-0. Dodgers on top. Report. Citizens Bank. The next time you have a question about money, don't keep it to yourself. Ask a citizen. Cam Perkins had a couple hits. Lehigh Valley lost to Scranton 3-2. Reading defeated Binghamton 8-2. Reese Hoskins, we mentioned 35th home run. He's 3 away from the Reading franchise record. Clearwater lost to Tampa 8-5 and 11. And Lakewood defeated Delmarva 3-1. Here, Jeremy Hellickson has allowed 3 hits in this ball game. The damage for the Dodgers was done in the first inning. Unfortunately for Hellickson, the Phillies have not been able to manage a whole lot against Scott Kazmir. Here's Seguin, and he takes a strike. Seguin grounded out to shortstop his first time up. Swing and a miss. Hellickson has retired 10 straight since allowing the run in the first inning. Hellickson picks up another strikeout. That's 11 in a row retired by Jeremy.
6 strikeouts, all on the changeup.
Tonight on Quick Slants, get the latest on Lane Johnson potentially facing a suspension for PED use. Plus, look ahead at tomorrow's preseason opener against the Bucks and Doug Peterson's decision to call the offensive plays. Watch Quick Slants tonight following Phillies postgame live right here on CSA. Foul tip by Kazmir. Every time I say his name now, I keep thinking about your key. Carlos Ruiz retired Kazmir's first time up. And a fastball 0-2.
Sheik don't like it.
Swing and a miss. Back-to-back strikeouts, 2 away. Any way you can go back and erase that first inning?
I was actually okay with it. Second and third.
Well, that is true.
1 out. And then you get the 1 run out of there. I'll take that.
7 strikeouts today, 2 shy of his season high. And he's got Chase Utley up, who he has struck out twice this afternoon. Into the Phillies dugout, chasing Odubel Herrera. Seems only appropriate that Utley's hitting well over 300 against the National League East, hitting .251 overall. So Carlos trying to set him up to see if he can get him out here. Jeremy looks like he's stretching his back out a little bit out on the mound. A little concerning right now that he's stretching his back as much as he is and bending at the waist a couple of times. Scott Sheridan just walked up next to Pete Mackanin. Outside 2-2. So he keeps pinching the right side of his back.
Hopefully it's nothing. I'm sure the trainers will twist him around after the inning's over.
Popped him up. And Cesar Hernandez on the right side, and Tommy Joseph. It'll be Joseph who makes the call. And Jeremy holding his hip as he walks off the mounds. Boy, it's a mash unit for the Phillies starting rotation. Let's hope they don't have another participant. 1, 2, 3 go the Dodgers. We'll be back at the top of the 6th after this. Is having a very productive summer. When the calendar turned from May to June, Cesar turned it up several notches at the plate and has hit with an average in the mid-300s for 2+ months. Hernandez has provided a spark at the top of the Phillies lineup and currently ranks among NL batting leaders in bunts, infield hits, triples, 4-hit games, and stolen bases. His offense has been very consistent, and it's brought to you by Independence Blue Cross. Live fearless. Well, back here at Dodger Stadium, Elvis Araujo is going to start throwing in the bullpen. As we mentioned, Jeremy Hellickson at one point grabbed his lower back and kept on grabbing and stretching it. He immediately, once he got the last out, he's retired 13 straight. When he got the last out in the 5th inning, he went down the stairs with Pete Mackanin and disappeared. So if they can't stretch out whatever the issue is, then it looks like the Phillies will go to the bullpen. The same week, or the same couple weeks, they've lost Aaron Nola and Zach Eflin. Zach was really limpid today when we were coming in from the bus on those sore knees. 1 ball and 2 strikes to Altair. And he lays off 2-2. Altair doubled his last time up, was left at second. He doubled Hellickson over to third. To the right side. Time now for the Jeep Stump the Fans trivia quiz answer. All right, Ben, here we go. Which 2 pitchers is Clayton Kershaw tied with for the most 200 strikeout seasons in Dodgers franchise history?
I'm going to go with Don Drysdale and Sandy Koufax.
You are correct. Log back on to Phillies.com to find out if you're the winner of a Phillies prize pack. And thank you for playing Jeep Stump the Fans.
I know you're not going to believe me, Tom, but that is really the first time I thought about it since the original question was asked.
Well, Koufax I think is definitely a no-brainer. I would agree with you on that one.
I think maybe Don Newcomb.
Drysdale, who won 209 games during his big league career, including 25 in 62. Eight-time All-Star for Drysdale. As Franco lifts that one into shallow left field. Howie Kendrick comes under it. And there are 2 outs.
First baseman Tommy Joseph.
And that'll bring Tommy Joseph to the plate. Michael, you can hear not pleased about that at bat. So Tommy is up. He's 0 for 2. He's grounded to shortstop, but he's grounded to second. Casimir looked like he got his spikes caught as he delivered that pitch. Tommy Joseph joining Ryan Howard, Pat Burrell, Scott Brolin, and Juan Samuel. 15 or more home runs by a Phillies rookie. Tommy needs one of those hot streaks again.
It is tough with seeing some of his playing time diminish with Ryan Howard swinging a hot bat recently. It's hard to get into a rhythm.
And Tommy back-to-back fastballs. Goes down looking, and it's a 1-2-3 6th inning for Casimir. Casimir and Hellickson are dealing here this afternoon. Hellickson may be done. We'll find out when we come back. Valley Honda dealers. Heard of your local Del Val Honda dealer. Visit DelValHondaDealers.com. Buy Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. And buy WB Mason. You can't go wrong when you buy right. Last of the 6th inning, and as we assumed when Jeremy Hellickson left the mound in the bottom of the 5th, he is done. Elvis Araujo is the new pitcher for the Phils. What a shame. Jeremy, 5 innings today. He allowed just the 1 run on 3 hits.
Think about how happy the Dodgers are that he's out of there.
I would agree with that.
Man, he was straight dealing.
So now Araujo with Josh Reddick leading it off. And he takes a strike, 0-1. Elvis just added to the Phillies roster yesterday and pitched in yesterday's ball game. And a liner out toward left field, and it'll drop in front of Tyler Goodell for a base hit. Reddick is 2 for 3. Well, taking a look at Jeremy Hellickson. 7 strikeouts this afternoon. Really was very good. His off-speed pitch was excellent.
His changeup was stellar. 6 of his 7 strikeouts on that changeup. Was able to climb the ladder to Kazmir for the only strikeout with that fastball, but man, this changeup was just special today. The righties and lefties, it didn't matter. He had it going.
So with nobody out and a runner at first, you see Hellickson, first inning, 3 runs, 31 pitches. Since then, 40 pitches. Up high to Seager. And it's 1 ball and no strikes. Swing and a miss. 1 ball, 1 strike. Well, these are big innings for the Phillies bullpen, with the team down 1-0 here in the bottom of the 6th inning. Bad pitch. It missed the spot, but it was down low according to John Tumpane. And it's 2 balls and 1 strike. Hit by that pitch, hit in the hand, and all of Southern California is gasping right now. Dave Roberts the first to go out. Home plate umpire John Tumpane did appeal to the third base umpire. Seager's trying to move that wrist. I don't know if it hit him in the hand or if it did hit him in the wrist. Obviously was not something that Elvis Araujo was trying to do.
Just gets away from him.
Looked like on the forearm, the bone
maybe
of the forearm.
That big knuckle that sticks off your wrist there. Better look here.
That was a 91-mile-an-hour fastball, and Seager is going to stay in the game. Dave Roberts will walk him down.
First baseman, Adrian Gonzalez.
I think the Dodgers' playoff hopes would change if anything happened to that young man. Ooh. The runners on first and second. And Adrian Gonzalez, who is 1 for 2 with an RBI double, fights one off. Well, he really stayed in there. That pitch was coming inside too. Back to the screen, 0-2. Michael Marriott warming up in the bullpen. One ball and 2 strikes to Gonzalez.
Talking with Pete McCannon, he said the other day, you touched on this as well, but Elvis Araujo really not a lefty specialist.
No.
He doesn't have that wipeout slider. The big overhand curveball or a good changeup. He's got a good slider, but it's not the one that everyone knows is coming. You still strike the guy out with.
Fly ball left field. It's not deep. Galvis is out. Goodell is in. And Freddie makes the catch. And the throw quickly goes to third.
He is good on those, but I just assume let Tyler take that one.
I don't think Tyler saw it, the way he reacted. And he may have at the end, but the way he reacted.
He's Freddie all the way.
But you're right. He has a better angle coming in.
There was a late jump there by Tyler.
So now Grandal will bat. They'll stay with Araujo because Grandal, they'd rather have him bat right-handed. And they got Peterson on deck. Pitches outside. Jeremy Hellickson left with back tightness, which we anticipated that would be something like that. Turn back towards second.
Make a living right there.
Out toward right field, Paredes makes the catch. Tagging from second is Reddick. Paredes lets it fly, cut off thankfully by Galvis, so that means Seager cannot advance. Runners on first and third with 2 men down. I don't think Seager was going to go anyway, but if that ball went over the head of Galvis, it leaves the door open a bit.
Paredes gets to this ball, and Reddick tagging up. Good play on Reddick's part, but he still has to come in a little bit lower.
So now one more lefty to get. That's Jock Peterson with runners on first and third. Peterson walked his first time up. Retired by Ruiz his next time. goes from first. Pitch is swung on a miss. Ruiz throws through, and they've got Seager. Galvis is going to try to track him down. Now he's got Reddick between home and third. Ruiz will run Reddick back. Franco now in the rundown with Freddie Galvis, and Galvis will tag him out, and that will wrap up the bottom of the 6th inning. I thought Freddie had Seager dead to rights between first and second, but he decided to come home.
That's what I was thinking. Just lay it on him, Freddie.
It still worked out. The Phils did not allow a run. We'll go to the 7th in need of a little offense. Fortunately, they were able to keep it at a 1-run lead in the bottom of the 6th. Time now for a Hyundai defensive play of the game.
Well, you just saw it here. Seager takes off at first base. Chooch has been throwing the heck out of the baseball. We still don't know why Freddie just didn't tag Corey Seager out. I guess he just wanted to make it easier on us to score with this 2-6-2-5-6 caught stealing of Reddick. But it worked out. Nobody scored. The Phillies keep it a 1-run ball game.
So Carlos Ruiz will lead it off. You are right, though. Mechanically, Ruiz's throws have been way better recently.
That was your Hyundai Defensive Play of the Game, brought to you by your local Hyundai dealers.
Carlos fouls it off to the right.
It's noticeable velocity that Carlos is coming with.
You think he's just shorter to his throws?
I do see more extension, more follow through out of him. The ball's really coming out of his hand a lot hotter.
Bullpen action. Grant Dayton warming up in the pen. Carlos again hits it foul. A lot of late swings against Kazmir.
I think they're at that point. Well, they've been at that point where they keep looking for that changeup, which was so good early on. How many caught lookings has he had with that fastball? He's dotting righties away with that fastball.
He certainly has the last 3 with that fastball. Carlos tried to check. Did he go? No. This is Alan Porter. Broken bat, line drive, base hit for Carlos Ruiz. And he is aboard to start the 7th inning.
That's what happens when you hit through the ball. Out in front, kept his hands back, but his finish is what enables him to get this ball to the outfield without hooking it to Seguin at third base. That's a good piece of hitting
Watch his follow through right there. Finish high. You finish high, it enables you to get through the ball a bit better.
Way outside to Paredes. Paredes is 0 for 2. He is popped out to Utley, and he's grounded out to Utley. Ramos warming up under the watchful eye of Genmar Gomez. 2-0. Kazmir looked like he was upset with where that pitch was. That looked like it was off the plate. I guess when you're throwing the way he is, you get a little greedy at this point. 3 balls and no strikes to Paredes. Ball 4, and the Phils have the first 2 batters on here in the 7th inning. And Dave Roberts is coming out. We might have a pitching change here in the 7th inning. With Tyler Goodell due up, Roberts is looking. Yep, he's going to go to the bullpen. So 100 pitches for Scott Kazmir, and they will lift him from this ball game.
Good, get him out.
Yeah, pitching change for the Dodgers. We'll see if the Phils can get to the Dodger bullpen when we return. Time now for our Delaware Valley Honda Dealers game summary. Phillies gave up a run in the 1st inning. They trail it 1-0, but we're here in the 7th inning. They're scoreless in their last 11 innings. Jeremy Helgson went 5, left with back tightness. Scott Kazmir goes 6+, and they take him out of the game after allowing 4 hits and 3 walks to bring in left-hander Grant Dayton in just his 4th game.
I'm sure Dave Roberts has his reasons, but I, for one, am glad to see Kazmir out of there. Chooch had a broken bat single to left. He did walk Paredes on 4 pitches, but really had 0 adversity in this ball game thus far.
And he is a veteran pitcher, but it's a different game.
Oh, it's different.
So now Tyler Goodell is up with runners on 1st and 2nd. Nobody out. Will Goodell bunt? We'll see. I would think so. And he bunts foul. And it's 0-1.
Dayton's a guy that's in the low 90s. Okay, you have a bunting situation here. You throw him a 69-mile-an-hour curveball. Could there be an easier pitch to bunt than a 69-mile-an-hour curveball? I don't. It's already going down, and it's a lot slower. Good hard fastball, in my opinion, is the hardest pitch to bunt. You have to deaden it. You have to angle it.
And he bunts it in the air, and it's 0-2. Got to get this bunt down. Now, I don't know if he's going to bunt here, but I would make a bunt again. And he takes a strike 3 call. So Goodell's down looking, 1 away. And Freddie Galvis is coming up.
Shortstop, Freddie Galvis.
Locks him up with a fastball. Man,
that is the problem with bunting with 2 strikes, is that if it's close, I mean, you can't afford to take it like that. All right, so now Freddie Galvis. Galvis has popped up twice. Once to foul territory. Out of play, and it's 0-1. Taylor Featherston is out of the on-deck circle. Brad Dayton had very good numbers down in AAA this year before the Dodgers brought him up. 2.97 ERA. He was 2-2. Big difference right now are the runners in scoring position for both teams.
That is hard to believe. 1 for 18.
Rick Honeycutt, the longtime pitching coach for the Dodgers. He was Don Mattingly's pitching coach. Two and 2 to Galvis. Fouls it off again. Dodgers got Dayton last July from the Marlins in a minor league trade. Over to third, foul. He struggled in AAA when they got him last year. Went down to AA and pitched well enough to get an opportunity to go back to AAA this season. He is out of Auburn University. Into left field. That's well hit. Kendricks going back toward the wall. It is gone! one into the Dodgers bullpen, a 3-run home run, and the Phillies take the lead here in the top of the 7th inning.
Do it, Freddie. He went at curveball, fastball, 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 changeup, fouling all these pitches off. He saw them all, put together a very good at bat. He goes up top for the 3-run homer.
11 home runs now for Freddie Galvis, and the Phils erase that deficit. That makes Steve Liller of Philadelphia a winner of the McDonald's home run jackpot. He's just won $100.
Way to go, Steve. See Grandal set up, once that high fastball. This ball cuts back towards the middle of the plate. Freddie up top last night, left-handed. Up top here today, right-handed.
Here's Taylor Featherston. And Featherston swings through the first pitch. It's 0-1.
Boy, did he pick up Tyler Goodell there.
He sure did. Homered in back-to-back games here in this series. How about that? If you're Scott Kazmir sitting on the bench, you got a 1-0 lead. Yes, you did walk somebody and allow a leadoff single, but now you're on the bench and you're on the other side of this game decision-wise.
Yeah, he's on the hook.
A little low, 1-2 to Featherston.
You got 45 RBIs out of your 8-hole hitter.
That's what he was talking about that the other day. You know, he said, I know Freddie's not hitting for average. He said, but look at some of his other numbers. Featherston fouls it back again. And, you know, Freddie's disappointed with his average. He realizes what's, you know, coming behind him in J.P. Crawford. He has no intention of giving up a major league spot. Popped up foul toward the Phillies dugout.
Right in the trash can it went.
That's the second time a ball's gone into the trash can on this road trip. It's a home run in San Diego that went into the trash can in the bullpen.
You might want to leave that one in there, buddy.
You know what they're calling him right now? Garbage picker. One-two pitch. Swing and a miss. He went after a high fastball.
I just don't know. I know you just said J.P. Crawford. He knows what's behind him. I can't tell you how many times I've had this conversation with people about until you put up the numbers at every level and you warrant that promotion. Freddie Galvis is your everyday shortstop. He's doing an excellent job, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are going to disagree with me. I love Freddie Galvis. I do. But until Crawford proves that he's ready, he's big league ready, he may never be ready. We don't know. And until he comes up, if and when he gets to the big leagues and proves that he can do it on a daily basis, it's yet to be seen.
1 ball and 1 strike to Cesar. Off the end of the bat, over to first base. Adrian Gonzalez has it, and just in time gets Cesar Hernandez. 3-1 on the putout. Freddie Galvis' 3-run home run has given the Phils the lead here at the top of the 7th inning. Most of his home runs have come left-handed. He's finally able to put one out of the ballpark right-handed. Galvis. For Galvis, it's his 11th of the year, his first right-handed this season. So a 2-run lead. Now the bullpen, it's up to them to hold it. Every time the Phillies retire the opposing team 1-2-3, Comcast will make a contribution to Phillies charities. Phillies baseball is brought to you by Xfinity. Xfinity X1 will change the way you experience TV. A little different look for the Phils out of the bullpen now that they're ahead 3-1. They can go to Ramos here in the bottom of the 7th inning. 22nd game, an ERA of 3.20. Ramos will face Jock Peterson, Howie Kendrick, and Rob Segedin here at the bottom of the 7th. One. Oh, 2. Off the hands, 96 on that fastball from Ramos. So big if the Phillies can get out of Los Angeles with a victory to end up this series, finishing 3-3. I know the Giants are thinking that. They've already won today.
I'm also hoping that Jeremy Hellickson's back is going to be okay. Maybe it's hoping it's just maybe a spasm in there. You don't want anything.
Foul ball off Ruiz. On the outside corner, strike 3 calls. Peterson obviously did not agree with John Tumpaine's call. But there's one away.
That was a good pitch. Top of the zone. Definitely not where he wanted it, but that was a strike.
Kendrick takes strike 1. Kendrick is 0 for 2. Outside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Payne says he goes, so it's 1 ball, 2 strikes. See Ruiz creeping to the outside part of the plate, up high. His fastball's been good in this inning. 96 on that one. It's been sitting 96.
Have you heard him say a word in the clubhouse yet?
We had our photo taken with him the other day.
But he still didn't say anything.
I actually talked to him at the hotel. The ball is lined out toward left. Goodell got a late start. It's over his head and off the wall. So Kendrick will get to second base. And he's there with a 1-out double.
Third base baseman, number 25.
Well, it's time for our greater coverage of baseball, brought to you by T-Mobile. What's happening around the world of baseball today? Well, take a look. Bryce Harper out of the lineup again with neck stiffness. This has not been a good run for Harper. The Nationals are tied right now with the Indians 4-4 after Francisco Lindor's 2-run home run. Clayton Kershaw sends the Rams a welcoming gift. And Carlos Gomez designated for assignment by the Houston Astros, which is shocking considering that he was such a big pickup for them last year. So here is Seguin, who takes inside. Clayton Kershaw, by the way, spent $46,000 on his gift to the LA Rams. Inside. He bought them each an engraved bottle of Johnny Walker Blue Label, welcoming them back to Los Angeles. $230 a bottle.
Makes sense. You must be looking for free tickets, Tom.
Foul tip. It's 2-1. Well, he did say that he will be a season ticket holder and a fan. The Rams' first exhibition game as the LA Rams again will be this weekend. Outside, and it's 3-1. Ramos might be overthrown just a little bit here. Daris throwing in the bullpen. Off day tomorrow. Foul back to the screen. It's 3-2.
Backed up on him a bit. The strikeout to Peterson, which I still believe was a strike, backed up on him. It's like he's not able to get on top of that pitch right now. He's probably telling him, get that out in front of a bit more. And see some better action on it.
Back toward the middle, off the mound, a base hit into center field. Kendrick will score. Seguin another RBI. He has 6 in his first week in the big leagues. And it's now a 3-2 ball game. Now McClure is going to go out. And Justin Turner is going to be the pinch hitter.
Seguin gets the 3-2 there, and I think he was kind of sitting on the fastball for the simple fact that Ramos has a tough time getting that slider down and controlling it, so gets his fastball and shoots it up the middle. I thought by Bob McClure just to go to the scouting report. Justin Turner.
I actually thought it would be Pete coming out and bringing Hector in to get 5 outs with the off day tomorrow. I know he's thrown a lot. All right, so Ramos will now try to get Turner. See if he can induce a double play. Give Seguin credit, though.
And hitting for the Dodgers, number 10, Justin Turner.
Justin Turner, there was a time where he was a bench player, so pinch hitting was not a big deal to him. He's an everyday player now, just had the day off today, hitting .275 with 21 home runs 67 runs batted in. Breaking ball, and it's 0-1. That's a sharp breaking ball right there. He was getting on top of it, as you mentioned. He's hit it 10 straight. Inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Utley is on deck. He is not throwing a fastball to Justin Turner, at least early in this count.
Well, he hasn't missed a fastball the first couple games.
Swing and a miss. He did throw him a fastball out of the zone, and Turner strikes out. And here comes Pete Buchanan. So he wanted Ramos to get Turner, and now he brings in Neris to face Utley. So maybe he can counter Utley with the split of Hector Neris. Runner at first, 2 men down. Pitching change here at Dodger Stadium. The Dodgers have scored a run. Will be inducted into the Phillies Wall of Fame. The commemorative print to all fans that you see right there. Sunday, the Toyota Phillies Wall of Fame Fathead will be given to all fans. Tickets can be purchased anytime by going to Phillies.com. Hector Neris is coming on with 2 outs and a runner at first base here in the bottom of the 7th inning. And he's on to face former Phil Chase Utley. A run is already in for the Dodgers. Neris in his 58th game, 57 2/3 innings of work. Eddie Ramos is responsible for the runner at first base.
Get it out the quickest way you can.
Utley is hitless in 3 at-bats. First pitch is, well, timeout is called. I didn't see time called, to be honest with you. I know Neris kind of quick pitch, but he certainly stopped because it would have been a balk if he didn't.
Chase is saying, well, thank you for showing me that split.
Yeah. Why would he call time?
I don't know.
Pitch was already on its way. Through the same pitch, and it's 0-1. This is ridiculous how late time is called. Oh, he's got time right there. He said go. He said go.
It's amazing.
Well, that's ridiculous.
It really is.
One ball and one strike to Utley. And a base hit down the right field line, just foul. Wow. Second in, goes back to first. From our vantage point, that looked like trouble as soon as it left the bat. Fortunately, it hooked foul. Now, Dave Roberts is asking them to hold it so they can review it. This is a reviewable play.
Alan Porter all over it down the first base line. He's taking a look right at it.
It looks like it was just foul. Dodgers will not challenge. One ball and two strikes. Yeah, the other thing about that timeout, I'm shocked that nobody said anything to him. Ground ball foul. Going to be careful with that spot. It remains 1-2 to Chase Utley. 3 hits of this series and 12 at bats.
I'm just not going to let Chase beat me to the pull side here. There's just no way.
Center field. And Aaron Altair is there. And the inning is over. Well, that's exactly what Neris wanted to do, is not allow him to beat him to the full side. Dodgers do get one. We'll head to the 8th.
You can now get hot and juicy Dodger dogs outside.
Is brought to you by Toyota. The annual clearance sale is going on now. Toyota, let's go places. By Jefferson. Call 800-JEF now or visit jefferson.edu. And by Chevrolet. Visit your local dealer at chevydealer.com. Top of the 8th inning, the Phillies lead it 3-2. And the new pitcher for the Dodgers will be right-hander Josh Fields. His 5th ball game. And Fields will face Aaron Altair to start things off. Phil's looking for some insurance runs here in the top of the 8th. It'll be Altair, Franco, and Tommy Joseph. Altair doubled in the 3rd inning. 3 runs on 5 hits for the Phils, 2 runs on 6 hits for the Dodgers. First pitch to Altair is in there. It's 0-1. 1-2. Swing and a miss. Late on a 94-mile-an-hour heater. And quickly one set aside here in the top of the 8th inning. Well, that was pretty basic. Fastball, curveball, fastball.
It's about getting ahead and putting somebody away.
And now Maikel Franco, who's hitless in 3 at-bats. He's grounded a short into a double play. Grounded out to second and flied out to left. Back to the behind home plate and off the top of the press box. 0-2. Over to first base. That'll stay fair. Gonzalez backs up on it. 3-1 on the putout.
Tricky one there.
Well, now 2 outs, and here is Tommy Joseph.
First baseman number 19.
Talking about guys that are due. Tommy is due. There's no doubt about that.
Did hit the home run here the first night off Baez. He was not in the lineup last night.
So 1 for 7 in the series. Dodgers bullpen has been one of its saving graces during this stretch. Upstairs.
What's amazing is both first basemen, both Ryan Howard and Tommy Joseph, both have half the amount of home runs than they do RBIs. So Tommy with 15 and 30, Ryan Howard with 16 and 32.
Talked about 13 of Ryan Howard's home runs or solo home runs.
That's amazing.
Swing and a miss, and Fields works a 1-2-3 inning. 2 strikeouts and a ground out. So we've completed 7.5 on to the bottom of the 8th inning. The Phillies holding on to a 1-run lead over the Dodgers. of the game. And the hope is that this delivery in the 7th inning does stand up for the Phils.
Sure hope it does. Freddie Galvis, 3-2 pitch, deposited off of Dayton here in the left field. Give the first right-handed home run there for Freddie Galvis. That is your WB Mason delivery of the game.
Josh Reddick will lead it off against Hector Neris. He swings at the first pitch, a ground ball sharply to second. And as you mentioned, Freddie's at bat, it was a 3-2 pitch, but so much led up to that. Foul ball after foul ball to get his timing done. He saw everything.
Yeah.
Corey Seager's the batter. Seager 1 for 2, singled, and was hit by a pitch. First pitch is low and in, 1 ball and no strikes. One-two pitch. Out to center field. Well hit. Altair going back. He got turned around. It's over his head and over his glove. And Seager's on his way to second. He'll stop there. A 1-out double. 32nd double of the year. The key there is that he got turned around.
That's the key. You're right, Tom. He gets turned around out here in center field and not able to get back to the plane there. It's a screaming line drive, don't get me wrong, but right before that, Aaron had gotten turned around and just not there in enough time.
So the tying run in scoring position here in the 8th inning. Adrian Gonzalez, the batter. Fastball up and in. It's 1-0. Kenley Jansen loosening up in the pen. 2-1. Three balls and 1 strike. Seager, who lined that fastball to center field for a double, is in scoring position. Grandal waits on deck, but first the 3-ball 1-strike pitch coming to Adrian Gonzalez. There's that split again. The split was so good against Seager, and Seager, this is why he's good even at a young age, was able to take that fastball and drive it to center field. Try to split again. On the Toyota Major League scoreboard, the Indians and the Nationals are in the bottom of the 5th inning. Washington leads at 5-4. Jason Worth does have a 3-run home run in that ball game. He extends his on-base streak to 40 straight games. Francisco Lindor, a 2-run home run as we mentioned, and a swing and a miss by Gonzalez. Dodgers are not pleased that Neris is utilizing that quick pitch.
Pitcher number 9, Yasmani Grandal.
They are barking from the dugout. But they're 2 away, and here's Yasmani Grandal. Hey, we've seen it all around baseball. Take a look at this last pitch.
Roberts is complaining he never stopped.
Well, he stopped. It's just a debate on how long he stopped.
Right.
You have to stop for a second count. Grandal, the hitter, he's 0 for 3. Up and in, 1 ball and no strikes. I mean, what'd you think? He stopped, but was it long enough?
It was close.
Yeah.
It was close.
I think Ruiz is going out. I think he thinks there's something up with Seager at second base. Maybe changing the signs up a little bit.
Either that or telling him, if you do it, make sure you stop.
All part of his resurgence offensively. Two and two. Peterson is on deck. Remember, he struck out his last time up, wasn't happy about it. Runner at second base. And Grandal walks. That puts runners on first and second for Peterson.
Don't have a problem with that. Considering how hot Grandal has been, I mean, none out of the woods yet with Peterson, who's been hot this series as well.
Peterson 0 for 2 in this game. Grounds the first pitch foul off the front of the Phillies dugout. And it's no balls and 1 strike.
Hopefully Neris can keep this at the 1-run ball game, but if he gets through this inning, he will have earned it.
Over to shortstop toward the vacant hole. Sliding stop by Galvis. Throws to first in time. Freddie Galvis with the bat. Freddie Galvis with the glove. And the inning is over. No runs, 1 hit, 2 men left, and a fantastic defensive play by Freddie Galvis to get Hector Neris and the Phillies out of the bottom of the 8th inning.
Not only does he have to check off here and say where his buddy Cesar, where are you? I need you at second base. You're not there? No, I'll just fire it across the diamond. Phillies holding on to that 1-run lead. They're going to face Jansen here in the 9th.
Freddie Galvis, but also thanks to some savvy defense by Galvis. Cesar Hernandez is locked at second base, so he wasn't going to get to the bag. So Galvis's only play was to first.
And thank goodness that Peterson isn't a speedster. And he looks up here, he checks off Cesar at second, just says, you know, I'm going to fire this across the diamond.
Freddie having himself a nice day.
Get to know where all your receivers are, Tom.
I don't know if Cesar would have been able to beat Grandal to the second base bag. Here's Kenley Jansen, his 51st game. I'm talking about a guy that's having himself a year. You know, the Dodgers at one point thought they had Aroldis Chapman. I think they're probably pretty pleased that they don't have Aroldis Chapman. Carlos Ruiz leads it off.
Not an easy task for a righty or a lefty.
One ball and one strike.
Jansen has the option. He'll mix in an off-speed pitch, a little slider every now and again, but he's predominantly cutter, cutter, cutter. He will mix in a four-seamer like you just saw right there, but he loves that cutter, and it's a good one.
One and two. He is an alum of Ben Davis's position. Former catcher turned pitcher. Carlos stays alive, just barely getting a piece of that. Genmar Gomez in the bullpen. He called on to pitch the ninth inning. Right now in a save situation. Phillies lead it 3-2 thanks to the 3-run home run by Freddie Galvis. The last 7 runs the Phillies have scored, and this is sort of uncommon for this team, but the last 7 runs are by the home run. Galvis's 2 homers, a 3-run shot and a solo shot. Alter's 2-run home run, and Tommy Joseph's solo shot. Carlos again makes contact. Opposite way, and Carlos fighting it off. This is an 8-pitch at bat. He'll see his 9th pitch in just a moment. Three balls and 2 strikes. Another foul ball, 95. So these are all cutters?
Yeah, sometimes he'll get around it a little bit more and he'll act more like a slider.
Ball 4, and Ruiz draws his 2nd walk of the afternoon. Ow. Talking about earning something. He earned it right there. Next Thursday, when the Phillies wrap up their 3-game series against the Dodgers, after the game, it's the first ever post-game concert at Citizens Bank Park with country music star Chase Rice. Tickets can be purchased by purchasing a ticket to the game. Your game ticket is your concert ticket. If you want to be part of Country Music Night, go to Phillies.com/Chase Rice for more information. Jimmy Paredes takes a healthy swing at the first pitch. It's 0-1. Runner goes from first. Carlos taken off, and Grandal cannot make the throw. With a little element of surprise, Carlos Ruiz steals his third bag of the year.
That's Chooch taking liberties.
But Jansen is somewhat deliberate to the plate.
Understatement of the year. What do you think of that one, Chase? That's what he's yelling back at number 26 out there. There's just no way. Grandal had no chance there.
Chase is reminding the third baseman Seguin that if he gets a ball hit sharply, he may go to third to try to get Ruiz. 0-2 pitch now to Paredes. And he was way late. One gone. Way late, and Seager was out of position at shortstop. He was going up behind Carlos.
And instead of trying to retreat back towards his shortstop position, he just stayed at second base. He said, I'm here now, I'm anchored here. No sense in heading back. Watch Seager. He gets in there and he just says, you know what, I'm just going to hang out here.
Phillies will send up Odubel Herrera to pinch hit for Tyler Goodell. Odubel 282 with 12 home runs, 39 runs batted in. Back toward the middle. Chase Utley surrounds it, fakes the throw to first, and Carlos Ruiz will anchor down at third. And there'll be runners on first and third as Odubel gets the infield hit. And Freddie Galvis will get a chance to bat again.
Shortstop number 13, Freddie Galvis.
Well, we've seen this play before. We talked about it during the series. Fake to first.
All I kept thinking about was, Carlos was around the bag, was get back.
Yeah.
Adrian Gonzalez talking to Jansen. Seager is in as well. I think you have to be leery. Well, it's been a while since Paul pulled out the suicide squeeze.
I would assume Odubel will be off and running here.
I was wondering about that too because of the the amount of time it takes Jansen to get to the plate, get the double play out of order. Middle infielders are creeping in a little bit. And a quick toss over to first. Odubel is back. Third baseman Seguin is in on the grass. Carlos is even with him as we speak. Runner goes from first. Pitch is high. So Odubel does get the stolen base. Jansen has not been scored upon since the 22nd of July. That was his 5th blown save of the season. So they are going to pitch. Well, they're going to now intentionally walk Freddie Galvis for Ryan Howard. I don't know if 3 years ago those words would have ever been uttered, that they're going to walk Freddie Galvis to pitch to Ryan Howard. But it's a predicament, and Dave Roberts thinking that Jansen could probably get Howard or maybe get him to hit into a double play.
I think he's wanting a strikeout more than anything right now.
Yeah. Well, there is ball 4. So an intentional walk. Ryan Howard will pinch hit. Phillies have used 2 pinch hitters in this inning. Howard is the franchise's all-time leader in grand slams. Big would a nice juicy fly ball be in this spot.
I'll take anything that scores Carlos Ruiz from third base.
Runners lead off. Upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. There's an obvious battle going on with command for Kenley Jansen in this inning. See Ryan's numbers as a pinch hitter, or excuse me, with the bases loaded, 13 grand slams. A little tardy on that 93-mile-an-hour fastball. 1-1. Cesar is on deck.
He's really battling himself right now.
Sure is. He's walked 2 in this outing, albeit 1 intentional. That's the first time this year he has walked 2 runners in an inning. He hadn't walked anybody since the 16th of July. 2 balls, 1 strike to Howard. And he lines it down the right field line. It's in for a base hit and going to the corner. 1 run is in. Here comes Herrera. He'll score. Rounding third. Heading for home is Galvis. And he will score. It's a pinch hit RBI double for Ryan Howard. A 3-run double. And the Phillies now lead it 6-2.
Peace. Dave Roberts choosing to walk Freddie Galvis. You can't tell me that Ryan Howard did not take that personally.
Wow, way to make it pay for Ryan Howard. That guy's loving it. He's been into this at bat since the get-go.
They set up inside. This ball just does not get there. Ryan Howard, nice flat level swing. Gets it down that line. What a feeling that must be.
Cesar Hernandez now the batter with Howard at second base. Ryan Howard coming through like the old days. And Cesar takes upstairs, 1 ball and no strikes. This is not an easy guy to get some runs against. But the Phillies have just gotten 3 runs against Kenley Jansen. First time this year he has walked 2 in an inning. First time this year he has allowed 3 runs in an inning. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Seen that ERA jump from 1.29 up to 1.82.
Let's get it over 2.
Threaten me with a good time.
Opposite way by Cesar. It's 1 ball and 2 strikes. Cesar picked up a hit in his first at bat, swinging at the first pitch. He's 1 for 4 in the ball game.
Phillies really have some good swings here. I talked about that great cutter that Jansen has. It's not cutting a whole lot today.
Yeah, got a little flatness to it. Jansen worked in 2 of the 3 games against the Red Sox. Picked up saves in both of those wins. This is only his 4th game here in the month of August. Swing and a miss after a high cutter. And Hernandez strikes out. And Dave Roberts is coming out, and he may be lifting him from this ball game. His pitch count is at 28. Yes, there is an off day tomorrow. The bullpen door is not swung open. Roberts is waiting for John Tumpane to come out and break up this conversation before he ends it with either a pitching change or a walk off the hill. And that will be it for Kenley Jansen. So Jansen will check out. Raven will check in. The Phillies have scored 3 runs with still a runner at second base. How about that note right there? After the game, stick around. Ricky Metallico is going to be along to break down this matchup between the Phils and the Dodgers. Talk a little bit about what Jeremy Hellickson did early on before he left with the injury. It's only on Cure Auto Insurance presents Phillies Post-Game Live. The other thing they'll talk about, obviously, is the way the Phillies have tacked on against Kenley Jansen, one of the better closers in the game. It was not a safe situation for him, but they were trying to keep it at a 1-run deficit. But Ryan Howard off the bench after Freddie Galvis was intentionally walked for Ryan Howard. A 3-run pinch hit double. So now Josh Raven, who pitched in Monday's game, a couple strikeouts in an inning of work. And he'll face Aaron Altair. And Altair whacks the first pitch foul. It's 0-1. Oh, 2. Denmark still throwing. Over to second base. Chase Utley's up with it. And that'll do it for the Phils here in the 9th inning. But they scored 3 runs on Ryan Howard's pinch hit 3-run double. Here it is, a cutter that didn't cut. And Ryan Howard pulled it into right field, and it went all the way to the wall. And the base is emptied, and Ryan Howard settled in at second base. Pretty exciting. Dodger Stadium, the Phils trying to salvage this 3-game series as they just broke it open. It is not a safe situation. They will have an off day tomorrow and then welcome in the Rockies. And this is the pitching matchup as it is right now. Jake Thompson will face John Gray on Friday. Jared Eickhoff against Tyler Anderson on Saturday. We know that Tyler Chatwood will pitch for the Rockies on Sunday, but that is Zach Eflin's spot in the rotation. And the Phillies will most likely bring somebody up from the minor leagues to start that day. Pete McCannon. So they have a pretty good idea right now who it is, but they just want to hold off on announcing anything until this weekend. So here's Gomez, a 2.61 ERA.
Fielder number 47, Howie Kendrick.
And he will face Howie Kendrick to begin this inning.
It's the right move bringing him in here, despite it not being a safe situation. Off day tomorrow. Hasn't pitched in a couple days.
I think there's the thought, too. Let's get a win and get out of Dodge. Kendrick takes the first pitch off the outside corner. Phillies scored 3 runs on the home run by Galvis, 3 runs on the double by Ryan Howard. Inside. Kendrick had a double and scored a run his last time up. He's also struck out and grounded out to shortstop.
Sure, Genmar is very, very excited to. Obviously, he's got to get 3 quick outs here, but very excited to get home and see Matthew.
Absolutely. He and his wife welcomed their first child. And just as the Phillies left for this road trip, he joined them in San Diego. I think he had, what, 24 hours with Matthew?
Yeah.
He said he was very thankful that his wife's parents and his parents were both there to help out. 3-2 pitch to Kendrick. And that one's out towards center field. Odubel Herrera, who was stayed in the ballgame to play center with Altair moving to right. That's that one drop in front. So Kendrick has 2 hits. And Rob Segedin will be the batter. Kike Hernandez is out of the on-deck circle to pinch hit. Genmar has fallen behind both hitters. And now Ruiz out to talk with his right-hander. Over to third base. That's a big hop. Franco's got it to second for 1. Around the horn. Not in time to get Segedin. But they do get the lead runner at second base. And Kike Hernandez will be the pinch hitter.
Number 14, Kike Hernandez.
Nice play there by Michael. Obviously not going to get Segedin at first, but it's a good feed onto Cesar at second.
And for a moment, the Phillies were looking at it to make sure that what Kendrick did at second was fine. Pete does not like the rule, the slide rule, but he said he will use it to his advantage if need be. Hernandez takes strike 1.
He said, if I can benefit by it and get an out, he goes, I'm going to take advantage.
He said, I really don't agree with it, but it is there. Outside. On the outside corner, a called strike 3. And there are 2 outs here in the 9th inning.
Second baseman, number 26, Chase Utley.
Bills are 1 out away from getting out of here with a victory. That one came back.
2-seamer that runs back over the outside edge.
That is exactly what that pitch is designed to do. So Utley's now the hitter. Utley is hitless in this ball game. At one point in this game, Jeremy Hellickson, who left with back tightness, retired 13 consecutive hitters. But since that time, it's been Araujo, Ramos Neris as the runner goes, and no throw.
Hellickson got him striking out twice, and then a pop-up to Tommy Joseph at first base. And that ended up being his last hitter.
Seguin's at second. Yeah, Rajo scoreless. Ramos 1 run. Hector Neris scoreless for an inning and a third. 1 ball, no strikes. Utley waiting for a strike, and it's 2-0. Josh Reddick on deck. He's had a decent day, 2 hits. Ball 4.
Infielder, number 11, Josh Reddick.
You got to nail this one down here. Asking for danger goes on any farther with this middle of the lineup, the way they've been swinging the bats.
Reddick, who took over in right field for Yasiel Puig, who's down in the minor leagues. Runners on first and second. That ball sweeps in for strike 1. It's 0-1.
Nice pitch.
Ground ball toward first. That's a fair ball. Tommy Joseph's got it. He'll take it to the bag. And the Phils win the finale of this 3-game series 6-2 as Jenmar Gomez gets the final 3 outs to close the door on Dave Roberts' Dodgers. Well, it was all about the 3-run base hit today for the Phils. The 3-run home run by that guy, Freddie Galvis, and the 3-run pinch hit double by Ryan Howard. Galvis is our Chevrolet player of the game. It's his first home run versus a left-hander since August of 2014 when he hit a home run against Gio Gonzalez. And don't forget, 3 of his first 4 home runs as a major leaguer came from the right side of the plate. So the Phils win it 6-2. They take the final game of this road trip. They finish 3-3 on the trip. We'll step aside and be back to wrap things up right after this.